think about the island, and you think about the space, and you think, okay, Voss owns this little space right here. What's this? Who owns this? Is Voss the crazy guy? Or is Voss not so crazy when compared to the crazy guy who lives next to him? The real focus was on the characters, making sure the player had that emotional experience of, I trust this person's not trustworthy. Oh my god, is there anybody I can trust? And you do that here and then there, and then there's a new experience, and it's just sort of varied, and we really focused on it, that cinema feel.
Okay, and for our viewers, Voss appears to be the leader of perhaps the enemy militia?
Kind of, yeah. And there's a marketing guy right over there who doesn't want me to tell you too much about the story. But the reality is, yeah, he's kind of a leader. He's got his own little fiefdom of people that follow him. But the reality is, as you move further and further on, you discover that there's a Voss here, there's a Voss over there, there's somebody else who's got his own unique brand of crazy. There's a little story over here it doesn't always have to be about, you know, a leader and a group. There can also be these little vignettes that are smaller and a little bit more dangerous. And maybe there's just one person and they don't have an army. And maybe they're crazy, and maybe they hate you, and they've got the only way off the island.
Okay, all right, we'll move away from plot spoilers before you get in trouble. Right. Obviously, the game is looking beautiful, vegetation, lighting. What can you tell us about the graphical upgrades?
Well, that was a real focus. We've got a really great art team that's focused on trying to make sure that we push the envelope of what people could think you could put into an open world. And so the key thing for us was movement. When you look into the space, this idea that, and audio as well, it's not just graphics, it's audio and the full scape feeling of it. When you look at it, yes, it looks great in a screenshot, and that it moves, and it breathes, and that you feel like you're in an island. That's a huge part of this game, is that feeling of discovery, and you have to have that emotional feeling of, I've got to push this plant out of the way, and I've got to skulk down there. Take a look at the water. The water for us was a huge push to make sure that you could play the game, and you got that feeling like, I'm in trouble, I need to dive in, and then everything changes. And it's got, you know, the whole audio scape changes. And you get the sense of, I'm safe for a second, and I'm in water, and I can come up and I can come around. Our focus is just on making it feel very, very real.
Okay, great. And in the demo just now, we saw a very cool moment where you took a guy and stabbed him in the chest and then threw the knife at another guy on the far side. Tell us about what was happening there, and there's a little kind of XP pop-up.
Yeah, I think that, you know, obviously it's a shooter, and obviously that the Far Cry brand is born on PC, and we wanted to make sure that we're accessible to those folks. But we also wanted to put in some movements that if you wanted to be a little bit more contemplative, and you wanted to be quiet, and you wanted to be careful, that we're going to reward you for that. So if Jason has the ability to gain advantage of height, he can drop down and do a really nice death from above kill. Or if he can get up close, and he can make it personal, and he can bring the guy in, he can basically slit his throat and throw the knife and kill the other guy in front of him. And from that, you're rewarded through XP, and as a player, you begin to build this suite of abilities that are kind of up close and personal.
Okay, and the XP feeds into the upgrade system?
All stuff I can't talk about.
Okay, all right. To us, the plot, I don't know, maybe feels a little like Lost. Are you interested in moving into that kind of less real and more kind of sci-fi type story? You
know, it's funny, we were talking about that. We were actually in a design section. We were talking about, you know, where do we sit? Are we more like Lost? Do we have sci-fi? How do we do it? I don't remember who it was that was talking about it, but the feeling really was, let's be careful about that. Let's make sure that when we make people have that feeling in the pit of their stomach that makes them feel uncomfortable, we make it real. And how do we do that? And it's, you know, I'm not afraid of the monster under the bed. I'm not afraid of a monster in a closet. What I'm afraid of is somebody who comes in through the window with a knife at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's like Voss, right? We all walk down the street, and we probably walk near somebody who's absolutely crazy and don't know it. Now imagine going to a place where they live. Now going to a place where they can't get out. That's what terrifies us, and that is really the feeling of tension in this game.
Okay, that's cool. You mentioned, or you didn't definitely not mention fast travel. Can you talk about how the game experience is in real time? Do you have sleeping? Do you have that kind of Far Cry 2 type simulation element, you know, like with the malaria medicine, that kind of thing?
You know, there's some things about Far Cry 2 that we really enjoyed, and there's some things about Far Cry 2 that we went to school on and learned on. And I think the key thing, without angering the marketing guy, although I'm a little bit bigger than he is, so I think I'm all right, is making sure that if you played Far Cry 2 and you had a really good experience and you enjoyed it, you're going to be able to come into Far Cry 3 and you're going to have that suite of talents. But it's our tone, and it's our grittiness, and it's our characters, and it's our water, and it's just the general flavor of the world that feels different. And so I can't give away too much, but I think the thing to know is that the demo is a really nice slice of our world. And the reality is that these folks are insane, and that you're going to feel it in the pit of your stomach. And if you played the earlier installments of the game, this is a very nice, very, very nice piece of that franchise.
Okay, excellent. Let's come at last to the heart of it, the shooter experience. It's the core of the game. What can people expect from that?
What can't they expect from it, right? It's Far Cry. They're going to expect a hell of a lot of fun. If they're really good at shooting, they're going to be able to pick up a weapon, and they're going to be able to drop a lot of people fast. They're also going to be able to, they're going to have to be thinking about this stuff. What you didn't see in the game is there's a couple of weapons that are coveted, and they're in the demo. And if you catch us out online, you'll be able to actually see somebody pick them up. You have a machete, and then there's also a weapon that has a little bit more of a silence feel to it. But these are weapons that are coveted, and you've got to go find them, and you've got to use them very, very carefully, because these are weapons that are not going to show up everywhere. The key thing is that if you feel good and you've got the ability to snipe. All right, I'm going to say it, snipe. Then you can snipe. You saw an AK-47. The reality is there's a huge suite of weapons that come from the Far Cry brand. They're going to be there, but it's really how you use them. You use them in the environment, making sure you get up top and using that sniper rifle, making sure that you get down into the jungle and you're utilizing that space, and you're using the environment and the water.
Yeah, especially you said using the environment earlier, and you had that kind of waterfall takedown. Tell us more about the environmental kind of contextual stuff.
Even when Jason is in trouble and you think, I've got nothing around me to do anything with, how am I going to be successful? Use the audio, the crushing audio of the waterfall. Utilize the idea that the AI can't see you and get in behind them. Sneak up behind a tree, climb up on top of a butte, and jump down for death from above. There's a lot of angles to cause trouble in this game.
Okay, Dan, thanks for joining us. Can you just give us the platforms and release date, please?
Sure. It's going to be coming out in 2020 and 360.
All right, great. Thanks very much.
The thing is, I killed you once already. And it's not like I am fucking crazy. It's like water under the bridge. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?